Potatoes again, Mommy? My son asked innocently, poking the dry mash with his spoon. I swallowed the lump in my throat and smiled. Just for today, baby. But it wasn't just today. It hadn't been for months. My husband handed every single paycheck to his mother, my mother-in-law, under the excuse of helping family. Helping family meant our electricity got cut off last week. Helping family meant I sold my wedding ring to buy winter shoes for my son. I never told my dad any of this. He's the kind of man who believes in pride, not pity. But last Sunday, when he dropped by unannounced, everything unraveled. My son was coloring on the floor while we all sat around awkwardly, trying to make conversation over the same sad dinner. Then suddenly, with the blunt honesty only a 6-year-old can have, he chirped, "At home, we only eat potatoes because Daddy gives all his money to Grandma." My fork froze midair. My husband's face turned to stone. "Let's talk about something else." But my father had already pushed back from his chair. Silent. Face unreadable. Jacket in hand. "Get ready," he said to my husband. "We're going to your mother's house." And when they came back an hour later, everything was different. They returned with silence wrapped around them like a storm cloud. My dad's jaw was clenched. My husband looked smaller, like a boy caught stealing from the cookie jar, but the jar, in this case, was my future. I stood in the doorway, my heart pounding. My son peeked around my legs, sensing the shift in the air. My father handed me an envelope. I took photos. I recorded everything she said. "What did she say?" I asked quietly. "She laughed," he replied, voice tight. "Said it was her money. Said your husband owed her for raising him. That if her grandkid wants better food, he should get a job." My knees gave way, and I sank onto the couch. My husband didn't say a word, didn't defend her, didn't deny it. My father looked at him with disgust. "You're not a man. You're a shadow. And shadows can't raise children." Then he turned to me. "You've suffered enough. I'm calling a lawyer tomorrow. You're done paying the price for someone else's guilt." I didn't realize I was crying until I felt the tears hit my son's hair. It was the first time in 3 years someone stood up for me and didn't back down. The next morning, my husband was gone. Not a word, not a note, just his clothes missing and his phone off. My father wasn't surprised. Cowards run when cornered. Let him. But I couldn't stop shaking. Not from sadness, from anger. I had wasted years cooking for a man who handed every dollar to the woman who hated me. And she did hate me. She once told me I looked like a girl pretending to be a wife. That I'd stolen her son, and now I was stealing his money too. I never fought back. I just swallowed it, like I swallowed cheap soup while she ordered steak with our rent. But not anymore. My dad took me and my son to the lawyer that day. He brought every document, every screenshot, every food receipt I'd kept out of guilt and habit. "She is proof," he said firmly. "She's not leaving without protection." The lawyer nodded slowly. "Good news, if he's abandoned the home and you file now, we can freeze assets. That includes the joint account he's been funneling to his mother." A fire lit in my chest. For once, it wasn't burning me down. It was burning a path forward. 3 days later, he came back. Not with flowers. Not with apologies. With his mother. She walked in like she owned the walls, nose scrunched, eyes scanning my living room like it was beneath her. My husband followed silently, not even glancing at me. She saw the lawyer's envelope on the table, the one I hadn't hidden. "You think some paperwork changes anything?" she sneered. "You're a guest in this family." "No," I said coldly. "I'm the one who paid rent for 6 months when your son was short. I'm the one who worked nights when your emergencies needed cash. And I'm the one whose child just told the truth." My son stood behind me, holding my father's hand. "You don't scare me anymore," I added. She lunged, but my dad stepped between us. "Touch her," he said, "and we'll add assault to the list." She laughed. "You don't have a case." The doorbell rang. "I think we do," I replied. The process server stood in the doorway, papers in hand. "For Mr. and Mrs. Collins," he said, handing both my husband and his mother court orders. She looked stunned. But the best was yet to come. The next morning, the court order took effect. A financial freeze was placed on our joint account, the same one his mother had access to for years. I had been quietly building my case. Bank statements, proof of unauthorized withdrawals, screenshots of messages where my husband begged me not to confront his mother because she's family. The judge didn't care. What mattered was the evidence of financial abuse, emotional neglect, and the way my son's basic needs were sacrificed for the approval of a manipulative woman. That afternoon, my father helped me pack. "You don't have to run," he said gently. "I'm not," I replied. "I'm taking my son, and going somewhere will be seen." My husband tried to call 13 times. I didn't answer. That night, I sent him one message. "You've chosen silence and submission. I'm choosing freedom." I moved into a small apartment 2 blocks from my dad. It wasn't much, but it was ours. No more potatoes every night. No more tiptoeing around entitlement. And when my son asked if we could get a puppy for his birthday, I said yes. Because this time, I didn't need anyone's permission to say yes to us. My husband didn't take the silence well. He showed up unannounced 3 days later, standing in the hallway of my new apartment building, holding a sad bouquet and wearing the same shirt from the day the court order came through. "I just want to talk," he pleaded. "We can fix this." I didn't open the door. I didn't have to. My dad had seen him coming and stood beside me, arms crossed. "You can talk to your lawyer," I said through the door. "Or to the judge at your next hearing." "You're tearing this family apart," he shouted. "No," I said. "I'm just refusing to keep pretending it's whole." Later that week, I heard from his sister, the only one in his family who ever treated me like a person. She told me the full story. His mother had been receiving $800 a month from our account, every month, for nearly 4 years. All without telling me. "She called it repayment for raising him," she said bitterly. "But you were the one doing all the work. She just wanted her cut." I thanked her. I finally had the last piece of the puzzle, and I knew exactly what I would do with it. I filed the final piece of evidence through my attorney, proof of financial manipulation, stolen funds, and coercion. It wasn't just about the hidden payments anymore. It was about decades of control, masked as loyalty to family. The court date was set. When my husband walked into that courtroom, he still wore the confidence of a man who believed women don't leave, that mothers don't speak up, that wives forgive if you say sorry just enough. But I didn't cry. I didn't shake. I stood and read my statement aloud. I was not married, I said. I was indentured. I listed every month I'd worked overtime while his mother collected my money. I detailed the emotional gaslighting, the belittling, the name-calling, the twisted idea that I should be grateful for a roof while he emptied our account. The judge didn't interrupt once. Neither did my husband. When it was over, the court ruled in my favor. Full custody. No financial obligation. Restraining order for his mother. As I walked past him on my way out, he whispered, "This is war." "No," I said. This was survival. The war ended when I stopped playing dead. And I walked out. It's been 6 months. My son and I now live in a small, sunny apartment filled with laughter, stability, and choices. We eat more than potatoes now. He has his own bed, his own bookshelf, his own joy. Sometimes he still asks, "Why doesn't Grandma visit anymore?" I tell him, because love doesn't come with price tags or threats. And the people who hurt us don't get to stay just because they're family. He nods like he understands more than a 6-year-old should. Last week, we baked cupcakes for his school project. He smiled and said, "These are better than the ones at Grandma's. Yours have love in them." I almost cried into the frosting. My husband? He tried to appeal. Tried to send messages through friends, claiming he's changed. But when he realized he had no power left, he vanished. No apologies. No goodbyes. Just silence. The kind I used to pray for. I don't need revenge anymore. I don't need people to suffer like I did. The justice wasn't in watching them fall. It was in rising with my child without them. Because sometimes, the loudest payback is the sound of peace.